So, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our event tonight for planning your future pharmacy career. And thank you for giving up some of your Wednesday evening to join us this evening. We hope that you'll find the event very helpful and insightful for making your decisions after you get your results on Friday. Results day is looming, so we hope you're all feeling okay. And we promise this event will hopefully give you a better idea of what's to come and the opportunities available to you. So, as a little introduction to myself, so my name is Olivia, and I am the growth marketing executive at Locum. So, what does that mean? So, I help to look after the communications that are sent to our locum pharmacists to make sure that they are aware of all the benefits and services that we can offer and provide to you to make sure that your locum journey is as supported as possible and that you are able to reap all of the many benefits that being a locum can bring. So moving on from me, some other things that we're going to be discussing this evening is the career opportunities available to you, getting started as a locum pharmacist, securing a full-time permanent role, and then we're also going to have time for a live Q&A at the end of the session. So feel free to post any comments and questions in the comment section over on LinkedIn, and we'll be able to see them come up. So just some other general housekeeping for this event this evening. So as I said, any questions, just post in the comment section and we'll be able to get to them at the end of the event. The event recording will be sent to you tomorrow, and so will the resources that we will be providing to help you on your pharmacy career journey. So what resources will you receive? So we've put together a complete guide to becoming a locum. We've also got a guide on securing your perfect job, and we'll be providing an invoice template and also some advice on how to write an effective CV and cover letter. So as I say, you will all receive them tomorrow, along with the recording if there's anything that you want to refer back to that we've spoken about in the event this evening. So I'm passing over to our fabulous expert speakers this evening. So Melissa, would you mind introducing yourself to all of our viewers, please?
Of course, thank you. So yes, I am Melissa. I am the recruitment consultant in Locum. I have been with the team now for coming up to 4 years. And what I do is look after our permanent division. So that would be working with all of our clients that we supply to on a locum basis to help them fill permanent positions, and working with our locum database to provide them with permanent opportunities as well. And then just kind of headhunting and sourcing candidates for roles, helping candidates find the right role, and just working with candidates to find that perfect fit for them. So it's fun. It's a good job.
Thank you, Melissa. Sammy, over to you.
Yes, so hello, my name is Sammy, and I'm a locum success consultant for Locum. I cover sort of the South England region for pharmacists, and been doing this for now about coming up to 6 years now. So in from the beginning, and what I do is essentially help locums sort of find their way through the journey from sort of registration to getting booked. And any sort of other queries they have regarding the registration or any of the companies that we have on the platform.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So our first slide tonight, Melissa will be taking you through the career opportunities that are available to you.
Yep, thank you very much. So in terms of opportunities in pharmacy, there's so many different ways you can go. And I think it can almost be a little bit daunting when you first start looking at it. So sometimes it's nice to kind of take a step back and look at what's there. A lot of people tend to think that there's kind of one route in its community and that's it, but there's so many different ways you can go. So I think kind of the first one there is research and academia. And to be honest, it's probably one that would be something that you would do further along in your career. And that would be kind of where you would teach students. So, you would do things like deliver lectures, you would have tutorials, you would do courses, and it's really just forming the students of the next generation. So it's something that, yeah, a lot of people would maybe look at towards the later part of their career where they have a bit of experience behind them. But a lot of people can do that alongside things like community as well. There's a lot of roles that kind of have that split, between them, where you would do maybe community for half the week and lecture, half the week as well. And I think when you look at things like salaries for that, it's typically round about the 35 to 50,000 per year. It can vary. So it really just depends. But yeah, it's something a little bit different and kind of something that a lot of people don't think about when they're in the pharmacy world and kind of where they can go. But it's something definitely a bit different. I think hospital pharmacy is one that a lot of people would think about, and it's sometimes a lot of people would start off in hospital pharmacy as well. It's great because you would be involved in the likes of ward dispensary. You advise patients, you get really involved in different types of medicines, usually on a rotational basis. So it gives you great access to either within NHS or private hospitals and things like, nursing homes, hospices, GP surgeries. You deal with a lot of different people and a lot of different medication. And it gets you a lot of experience with things like drug histories and treatment plans. So it gives you a really good insight to the world of pharmacy on a broader scale. Where it's not so good is that it's not as niche. You don't have a specialty. If you're wanting to do something really niche, it just gives you kind of, I suppose, little bits from here and there. So it's usually a good place to start. And it's very interesting as well. You can see things like clinical trials and things as well. So something very, very different. With that, though, it's usually salaried at salary bands, and that would be kind of the band 6, which is usually around the 32 to 39 mark. And that would be 1,000, that would be per year. And you can go up then to band 7, band 8A, up to band 9 as well. So there's room to progress and to grow, especially within the NHS. Industrial is something a bit different. So if you really enjoy the kind of the science behind pharmacy, you really enjoy industrial roles. So you could have things like regulatory officers, and they would do things like looking at the regulations and the legislation behind medication, looking at the scientific data behind medication, looking at the formulation of medicines and things like that. So if you enjoy, I suppose, the sciencey side of it, that would be something that you would probably really enjoy as well. With that, it's not so much face-to-face. You would do a lot of kind of behind the scenes. So if you're kind of bubbly and chatty and love talking to people, that it might not be the right role for you. Salaries on that usually start round about the 30,000 mark for kind of 1 to 2 years experience, but they can go up as high as 50, 60,000 for management. So again, room for progression. They usually tend to be kind of a Monday to Friday type of role as well. So there's not an awful lot of weekend work involved in those either. And they're usually in larger kind of companies that have regulatory divisions and things like that. Aesthetics. So yeah, it's something that would be part of the clinical world. Clinical is something that's becoming more and more of a hot topic at the minute. Independent prescribing is becoming such a hot topic at the minute as well. And I think clinical is something that's really, really growing, but I think it can cover such a wide variety that can be quite scary. So because whenever you do your IP, you can look at different specialties, and a lot of people just don't really know what to do with it. So you can do a lot with it. There's things where you can literally go into like aesthetics or dermatology, and you can do something like hypertension, or you can then go the other side and do the clinical research side as well. So again, that would be kind of like the clinical trial side, the regulatory side, investigative side, and be very involved in the likes of the clinical trial side. So again, different roles you can go. Also quite scary because there's so much to go and so many things you can do with it. But for the likes of the clinical research side, they would probably be the lower end of the salaries. But whenever you look at the likes of the clinical pharmacy side, they tend to be a little bit higher, between the kind of 50 to 55,000 per year. A lot of them tend to be hybrid roles or remote roles as well. So if you really enjoy kind of working from home, that would be kind of the route to go. A lot of them offer the working from home, good benefits, things like that. But again, it's not a lot of customer interaction. So if you really enjoy talking to people, I would say, community is the kind of one to go. And just on community there. So community pharmacy is kind of where a lot of people think they should start, and it's probably a good place to start. You can start off as, you know, a relief pharmacist, for example, and in that you just travel around, say for the likes of, you know, Superdrug or Boots or Lloyd's or whoever it may be, and you kind of get a different feel for the stores. Within community, you start to learn a lot of services and different offerings that are provided as well. So it gives you really kind of broad insight into what the community is like and what sort of things you can do, and it gives you access to so many different people. And it's a great place to start as well. Salaries on that can really just depend on where you're based. So it can be anything from £22 an hour right up to 30, £35 an hour. It really just does depend. Um, so yeah, with that, community is just, you know, usually a lot of people think it's the next kind of step in their career, but it doesn't always have to be. But it is a good kind of starting place for a lot of people that have maybe just qualified. Humanitarian is one that a lot of people don't really think about, and it's something that's, I suppose, it's becoming a little bit more of a growing field, especially kind of in current markets and situations. You know, humanitarian something's a little bit different, and you can be working with logistical companies or, you know, organizational companies, and it's really just in that humanitarian side. So you could be doing things like chain logistics, you can do technical advice, you can work in customs, and it's all about that kind of chain logistical side, but then also being on the kind of ground and providing pharmacist support to those that are in quite not nice situations. So it's something that's very rewarding, and it's something, as say, a lot of people don't really think about, but it's another route you can go. And again, that's something that a lot of people tend to do later on in their career. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different routes you can go. I suppose locum is the last one that we'll touch on a wee bit more, but um, locum is again where a lot of people, whenever they graduate or qualify, tend to just go as well, because you have the kind of the world at your feet. You can kind of go anywhere. But I think, Sammy, we can pass over to you, and I know you can talk a bit more about that locum side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa, for taking us through those. Yeah, so next up, yeah, over to you, Sammy. Thank you.
Yes, so hi everyone. So getting started as a locum pharmacist, what do you need? Why become a locum? So become a locum, in short, essentially means having the freedom to decide on which shifts you want to book, being able to set your own schedule and only take on shifts that fit the days that you're willing to work. This way, you're obviously able to control your own work-life balance. So, if you like meeting new people, becoming a locum is a great way to do so. When working, so sorry, you'll be working in new sort of teams and areas. You'll be providing different types of prescriptions to different people, and you'll have the opportunity as well to learn more about the working environment of a pharmacist and the different variables obviously that it might hold, since you'll be working in more than one place. This obviously will help you develop an overall knowledge of the business that could be invaluable to your career development. So when becoming a locum, there's a few things that you will need in order to register, with Located Locum. This obviously being your photographic ID, your indemnity insurance, and your enhanced police check. So following sort of on top of the enhanced police check is the cost associated with becoming a locum. Now, you can see on the screen there that it's 64.20, including the post office charge for your DBS and up to £360 for your indemnity insurance. This would depend on the insurance plan that you'll choose. So whenever you work with Located Locum, you can actually claim rewards. This obviously helps cut down the costs associated with becoming locum. So whenever you work 10 shifts with us, we can reimburse your enhanced police check, whether that be a DBS, enhanced DBS if you're in England, PVG if you're in Scotland, or Access and I if you're in Northern Ireland. And then further on, once you've worked the 15 shifts, we'll give you £50 cash back towards your indemnity insurance. So it just kind of lowers the cost of everything, makes life a little bit easier. Who doesn't like a little bit of a discount? Now really, going on to finding shifts, once you have your kind of approved, and how really can you increase your chances of getting booked with certain employers? So finding shifts your area once your account approved is really easy. You just need to put your postcode into the shift search page. This way you'll be able to view thousands of shifts, really at your fingertips. You can flick through as much as you want. There's a lot of choice, and with a Located Locum, you can actually apply for multiple shifts on the same day, without getting double booked, which is obviously not something that you want to do, because then you leave your one of the pharmacies without a pharmacist. So once you essentially get booked into a shift, the other shifts are taken off automatically, saving yourself from that kind of double booking worry. As well as that, if you're happy enough with everything about the shift, we also have an instant book feature. This allows you to book in instantly for a shift, completely negating the sort of the wait time that you would usually have whenever you're applying and negotiating for a shift. As well as that, to increase the chances of getting booked, you'll also have a dedicated locum success consultant for the area that you're based in. They'll obviously be able to help you find shifts, help you negotiate on rates, and any questions you have regarding the pharmacy, whether it be what kind of staff are in, potentially how many items as well. So what services are available to support you on your locum pharmacist journey. Going back to our rewards, it's something that we'll kind of rave about. Once you've completed your very first shift in located locum, you'll have access to locate learning, essentially giving you access to an extensive library of learning, pharmacy learning content, including thousands of modules, videos, and articles. It can be really, really helpful, regardless of what stage of the career that you're at. And also, we have an in-house compliance team that'll help you through the process, registering and being able to book with all the companies. As certain companies have, extra types of registration that are needed to book with them. So this, all that really means is that you'll have support no matter what stage you're at, in your locum journey, whether, just starting off or, a few years down the line, or whether you're really experienced. But yeah, sorry, kind of lost my train of thought. But no, that's really everything. If you are interested further in in locum, you can always give us a call. Speak to the locum success consultant in your area and ask any questions, or all the questions that you may have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sammy, for taking us through those. And so it's back over to Melissa. And Melissa's going to talk about securing a full-time pharmacy job and some of the services that we offer to support you.
Yeah, so I think the main thing to remember is that you're not on your own. I think a lot of people, whenever they think about moving jobs or wanting to make a change, or if you're starting out in your career, it can be quite scary. If you open the likes of maybe Indeed, there's hundreds of jobs, and you're just kind of going, how on earth do I look at this? So kind of where I come in and where I support is that start to end process. So if you're new on your journey, if you're wanting to change, or you're looking something different, usually my candidates would just we would just have an initial chat about kind of where you want to go, what the perfect role is for you, and then that's where we go from there. But regardless of what role you're looking at, I think there is the importance of having that strong CV. And I think CV daunts a lot of people because they never know what's right and what's wrong. There's never a wrong CV. CVs can vary depending on clients as well. So I think the main thing for anyone to think about is where we can help is we will help you with your CV. We will cover sheet your CV. And what that means is we will tailor it to that specific client. So if there's a particular role that you've applied for, we would then know what way the client likes to look at it. But I think the main thing for any CV, and the thing that clients really don't like, is spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, different fonts, really hard to read, so the kind of format of your CV is something that's quite important. And I know that's in part of the resources that we'll send out after on how to write a good CV. But I think just remember to read and read and read your CV, and only keep in the stuff that's really essential to your role. And I think you've got to remember that an employer, the first thing they see is your CV. That's the first kind of thing they'll see about you as a candidate. So you have to make it stand out. The pharmacy world, especially in the likes of maybe clinical, is very competitive. So you want to stand out, and that's where we would help with that CV and making you stand out as a candidate. I suppose on top of that, there's the kind of cover letter. People aren't sure whether to include cover letters or not. It never hurts to include one, especially if it's a role that maybe you really are interested in. It's something that you have a lot of experience in, or something that you think you would really excel at. A cover letter is just that extra kind of bump to give you, to help you stand out. Some employers don't look at them, and some employers don't read them, but it's always there to kind of give you that leg up. And it shows that you're really invested if you take the time to maybe learn about the company and learn about the role, and it shows that you've done a bit of research. And so cover letters, again, never hurt, never hurt to have. So yeah, if you want to do a cover letter, that's fine. In terms of the interview, a lot of people get scared when it comes to interview, and it's worse than what it sounds like. It's really not that bad. There's some people that maybe have never had an interview before, but what we do is we support you through that. So even things like mock interviews, I've held like mock interviews with my candidates before, and most interviews take kind of a specific format. And again, because we deal with the clients, we kind of know what questions that are going to ask. We can give you support on what sort of things they'll ask you and how to answer them. As part of the resources that we'll send out, there's different techniques in terms of answering different questions as well. So I think the main thing when it comes to interviews is be early, and just make sure if it's face to face, make sure that you're professionally dressed, or you shake someone's hand, for example. If it's online, which a lot of them are nowadays, you've got to remember, yes, it's online, but it's still an interview. So make sure that you're somewhere quiet. You've got a white background behind you, for example. You have your computer charger beside you, because that happens so many times where your laptop dies. So little things like that, and just really just make sure that you are there to sell yourself, but you're also there to hear how the client can sell themselves to you, because we want to make sure it's a good fit for everybody. So just on that kind of job matchmaking service, we do have live roles that are active at the moment, but it might not be the right role for you. And what we would do is really take the time to get to know you as a candidate, and really get to know what you want. If it's, for example, you want 2 days a week working in the house, in something clinical, in whatever sector it may be, we will help you try and find that. So we really work with you and try and find the best fit for you. Sometimes that can take a wee bit longer if it's a little bit of a niche role, but we will always make sure that we find the right fit. We try and get you as many options as possible so you can kind of see what's out there. But ideally, the goal for us is to find you that perfect job and that perfect fit, and to be with there, kind of start to end as well. CV clinics are another kind of thing that we offer. It's a free CV clinic, and what we'll do is we'll review your CV, kind of make any recommendations on where you can maybe change little parts of it. So just kind of to improve your CV, to make it stand out whenever you are applying. So I suppose the main thing that we do as well, and the scariest part, is to negotiate the salary. I know a lot of people do not like that conversation, and it's not a nice conversation to try and sell yourself, I suppose, in terms of what you're worth, in terms of salary and monetary. So it can be quite daunting. So that's why we take the time to get to know you as a candidate. We understand, what sort of salary you would be considering. We would be able to tell you market average of what's around you, and also what's realistic in your area. What we'll also do is we then sell you to the client, because we do have relationships with the clients. They do trust us a little bit more. We can then really explain why you would be the best fit for that company, and we would be able to sell you at your highest potential as well. So when it comes to salary, we would kind of, I suppose, negotiate on your behalf.
That's brilliant, Lisa. Thank you so much for taking us through those. That's great. So we're kind of on out of the section of our event for questions, and we will provide the answers. So if anybody has any questions, please do feel free to post them in the comment section. We have had some that were privately submitted via social media. So I'm going to go through them. Melissa and Sammy, myself, are going to try and answer them as best as we can. And hopefully they're questions that, maybe you were thinking of during the event. So hopefully we'll cover them all for you. So first up, one of our viewers submitted, do I need to register as self-employed to work as a locum pharmacist? So Sammy, would you mind answering that one for us, please?
Yes, so yeah, whenever you work as a locum pharmacist, you will be counted as self-employed, so you will need to register as such. A lot of people maybe have questions, in terms of tax. So it's really, as simple as you need to complete your own self-assessment at the end of the year. And if you do need to handle, if you have any further questions, you can speak to us and get in touch. We can pass through our compliance team, which will help you, give you a bit more information on that as well. But typically, all the tax and things are done by yourself as well, obviously, as you're counted as self-employed.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Another one that's been submitted is about our essential documents. And one of our viewers is looking to know how do they register for these essential documents, such as the DBS and their insurance. Where would they go to get that information?
Yes,
Sammy, would you mind answering that for us?
yeah, so sorry.
Mhm.
Really, really simply, it's quite easy. You can get in touch with us. So, for an enhanced DBS, you actually need to go through a third party. So, we will be able to provide that for you, and we'll be able to give you sort of a code in order to apply for an enhanced DBS, um, and the insurance as well. The indemnity insurance we have agreement with the MPA as well. So, if you are looking uh, to get started and register with your insurance and your DBS, definitely get in touch with us as well. One of the benefits of going through us as well is we also get a copy of the DBS clearance and the indemnity insurance. So this as well, speeds up the process of your account actually getting approved. It can take up to 4 weeks for the DBS to come through. But that's cut down obviously because whenever it is completed, we'll get notification of that, and we'll be able to approve your account of that as well, instead of you needing to wait for it in the post, which can take a few days. This way, it's much easier, it's much faster as well.
That's perfect. Thank you. And even tomorrow, whenever I'm sending out the resources, we have got some very easy to follow blogs on both of those things that Sammy mentioned, with information on how to get registered via like our third party partners. So I'll be able to send that out to you also. So a couple of other questions that we were asked is, how do I get paid if I work locum shifts, and who sets the rates on the app? So these are a couple of our most frequently asked questions by Locum. So I'll tackle the first one first. So how do I get paid? So for each pharmacy that is on our platform and that are advertising shifts, there are certain registrations that you have to complete before you can work there and then also get paid. So we actually have an entire help center that is dedicated to making it as easy as possible for you to get registered. So you can take a little look there, and I can also send a link to our help center. But some pharmacies, the process may be a bit more extensive than others, but that is why we have our in-house compliance team and our locum success consultants who will be able to support you if you have any questions about different pharmacies' registration policies. So it made it look daunting at the start, but don't worry about it. Like we've got all the support in place, and our Locum Success team and the compliance team have got great relationships with the pharmacies, so that we'll be able to get you set up so that you can start booking shifts, and that you'll also then get paid whenever you successfully complete them. And then secondly, so who sets the rates on our app? So our rates are all set by the employers. So Nokia Locum do not set the rates on the platform. And if there's a rate that you see that you on a shift that you're interested in, that you'd like, maybe to negotiate the rate on, we also have a feature that allows you to do this via the app. And that's also what your Locum Success consultant can help you do. So if you are interested in a shift that we are advertising, but perhaps you would like a little bit more for your hourly rate, we can help support you and try our best to get you that rate. So don't worry about that. One of our other questions then, so why should I use a recruiter instead of going direct to an employer? So Melissa, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose there's nothing to stop you from doing either, but I think where a recruiter kind of adds value is that it is a daunting world out there, and I think because we have such good relationships with our clients, we may have access to roles that maybe just haven't gone live yet, for example. So it really gets you there in there first. But I think also you've got to remember about the support that we would offer as well. So from the very, very start, even the simple things like your CV and getting your CV ready to go. And once your CV is ready to go, you can use that, yourself as well. Up to the likes of the interview, for example. So we will give you the guidance in the interview. We'll support you with what kind of things to say, how to answer things. We have things like mock interviews just to better prepare you as well. And again, because we do have the relationship with the clients, we kind of know what it is they're looking for the right sort of candidate, and we kind of know what sort of fit it would be for both parties. And then up to the negotiation and the salary and benefits, for example, we all know it's not a nice conversation to have, so we would do that for you, and we would make sure we would get the absolute best package for you that we can. And then again, just kind of past that as well, you know, we usually check in on our candidates right through their journey after they get placed, and even some of my closest friends are my ex candidates. So we keep in touch with you. We see how you're going, and you know, if the worst comes to worst and you're really not happy, we help you again. You know, we'll help with that move. Um, there's also kind of relocations and things as well. If you're looking at a relocation yourself, it's quite daunting. It's quite scary. And, you know, I would support candidates with relocations and even look at things like moving vans. So I've been on the phone to people like moving vans, being like, how do we move from Scotland to, you know, London? So little things like that, we just kind of, we're there. And I suppose the main thing that a recruiter adds is just having that person to turn to that can support you throughout the whole journey.
Brilliant. Thank you, Melissa. We have Anisu submitted a question about what example of courses and services do I need to have? Sammy, would you mind taking that one and maybe talking about some of the accreditations and things like that there, you know, that could help support a locum?
Yes, so absolutely. So the ones we, obviously recommend or put across is ones that would help you kind of get registered with certain companies. So we kind of briefly touched on it before that certain companies require a different registration process, or, a little bit extra to actually start booking with them. The likes of sort of the big ones, Boots, Lloyd's, and Well Pharmacy. So just to kind of run through a few, level 2 safeguarding for vulnerable adults and children. This one must be dated within 2 years. So the kind of lights just went off here. The Dementia Friends, repeat dispensing. Obviously, getting your smart card Locum activated is a big one as well. Obviously, with working in different pharmacies, you will need to have your smart card Locum activated. If you do need a bit more information on how to get that sorted, get in touch. Fire us an email on our chat on the website or app, or on email at info@locatedlocum.com. We can take you through how to get that, and also SCR access as well. As well as that, just a few more, MUR, NMS, DMS, and depending, obviously, if you're in England, CPCS, just to name a few.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sammy. And then we've also got one of our last questions is, can I work as a locum and also work full time? So, Melissa, can you shed some light on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. The short answer is yes, you can. I think a lot of it depends on how full time is full time. So if you are working, a lot of hours, I think it's just better to remember that sometimes you do need a day off. But absolutely, you can work both. And the great thing about Local Locum is we can support you with both. We have both divisions, so there is someone there that can support you with permanent and locum shifts as well. So yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that clients would look at is that there's no conflict of interest, for example. So say if you are working in the likes of a clinical field, they don't like you locuming with a competitor. But other than that, they are open and flexible. So yes, you can, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So if nobody has any other questions, please do feel free to reach out to us after the event. If anything, has come up whenever you're, after we finish the event shortly, please do just get in contact with us, and a member of the team will be able to support and answer your query. So yeah. So as we just sort of draw to a close here, so I've just provided our email address and contact information. So as I said, please feel free to reach out to us via email if you have any questions or just about getting started really with anything. And you can also contact us via social media too. If you haven't done so already, you can download the Lokia Locum app from the Google Play Store or the App Store also. And then before you get your results on Friday, you can actually go in now, create your profile and sign up as a pre-reg. And whenever you do get your registration number in the coming days, your profile will be ready to go. All you have to do is add it in, and then our compliance team will be able to take a look once you get all your essential documents uploaded. So it's nice to have a little head start on your journey before you get your results even. And our last slide is just from everybody, from Melissa, Sammy, and myself. We just want to wish you like a massive good luck for Friday. We hope it goes all the best for you. And yes, so hopefully you'll all be very happy. So thank you so much for joining our event this evening and for giving up some of your time on a Wednesday evening. As I said, the event recording will be sent to you all tomorrow with the resources that we mentioned at the beginning of the event. So thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.